Hey everybody, I've had numerous requests to do tutorials on Noteblock and how I'm making the music that I've been making, and since my more recent videos are actually getting kind of popular and my old tutorial is a bit out of date, might as well make a new one. So I'm going to take you guys from the ground up to exactly how I make music, and I'm going to start from the very beginning. The first thing you need to do is you have to understand how everything works. So right here, what I have is a world I'm named tutorial just for this video. I keep the game mode survival and with cheats on and super flat. That way, you have to keep it on survival. If you put it in creative, you can't ever left click a note block and find out what note it is. You have to right click it and then go through the whole 2 octaves again to get back to whatever note it was. And so that's why I keep it on survival. So let's go ahead and get started. My eye's been bugging me. Oh, look at that. Started right at a village. Okay, let's get away from them. You need to game mode to 1. We're going to need some redstone, repeaters. Let's get some interesting regular block. Cloth is good because it looks pretty. Let's get a lever and redstone torches, and of course our note blocks. Alright, so I'm going to teach you all the basics of what you need to know if you're getting started and you wanted to build your own little doorbell or something like that. It's much easier to build those just by hand, so you have to know what you're doing. So this is the most compact method to build no-block songs, and at least I think it's like the consensus is this is the most compact. And you start out with just blocks like this in an alternating pattern. You get your redstone repeaters. You put them in between like this, and you want them to be facing the direction of the current you want it to go. So, for example, if you had your trigger over here, which actually I want this to be a button. I don't want to. Yeah. Well, they couldn't really see it. These blocks in between actually become redstonified or electrified, whatever you want to call it. You can place the redstone dust right next to those blocks and they'll become activated. Watch when I push the button. That's because these blocks become charged by the repeaters in between, and then they charge, they in turn charge what's next to them. So you can put a block next to each of them. Oops. And then let me switch my, oops, that was what I already was. Alright, now I can actually left click and see what note they are, rather than breaking them. See, that's why I need survival. Alright, so now we've tuned our notes to, it's just a stupid arpeggio, there's nothing interesting about it. But, obviously music is, there's ups and downs in it, there's rhythms to it. So what we need to do is we can adjust these repeaters to increase the pause between the notes. And so for example, this is 1 pause, 2 pauses, 3 pauses, 4 pauses. So this really breaks down perfect for music because that's a whole measure. 4 beats is a measure if you're in 4/4 time, which sometimes you're not always doing. So, for example, let's do 4 on that one. Alright. So that's how you can kind of create the music you need. You gotta listen to it. Hopefully you're gonna start out with a simple song, and you have to have a really good ear. So you find the note that you want to play next, and then you find out the time in which you have to wait to play the next note, and then you tune it accordingly. And this is how I started out making music, and you can see some of my very first videos. And it's I want to go back to game mode 1. And it's a very time-consuming process, very rewarding when you get it right. But and then also something else to note is each one of these blocks can actually, oops, let me do this, can actually stem 4 blocks like this, and you can make a chord. See, all of them will play when I press this button. can't tune while I'm in creative mode. But otherwise I would tune a chord there. But anyway, so this is how that goes. And then you might also notice that a lot of my songs have 2 levels to them, and that's simply, let's do something like this. Oops, I'm just building it quickly. Like so. Yeah, that'll work. Then you put your repeater here. Oops, turn it the right way. You want it to, oops, you want it to be synced with what's below. So repeater here, block like that, block like that, and you just continue this on. And you basically build the exact same thing as below, and then you have 4 whole new notes that can be played, or instruments that can be played. And you obviously just change the block that's underneath in order to change the sound that is underneath. See? There you go. So now you should hopefully understand the basics of building the song itself. Now, one thing that I did is when I'm building much larger songs, I decided that it didn't really make much sense to be spending all my time doing that, because it's essentially just a giant time waster. Because once you've tuned one block, why do you need to tune every other one? So what I would do is I would set a whole bunch of blocks together, and I would do, oops, that was supposed to stay bottom, but and 1 note up, and I would build the entire chromatic scale, and then like put a sign over them, like this, and say this is low F or something like that. And that way I would know exactly what it is, and then I would use World Edit or some sort, or MC Edit or something like that to grab this particular note and put it where I want it. So obviously the same thing with the redstone. You build it out to what you want it to be. For example, what if I wanted to go ahead and zigzag it over here? Start again, like this. Then basically I just copy and paste this pattern, and I could just paste it out, and I have the framework of the whole song, or at least the redstone part of the whole song already out. And then I just got to put the notes where they need to be. So I was copying and pasting the notes in, so I wouldn't have to tune them each time, because tuning is just a huge waste of time. It does not take any skill to be able to, oh, ding 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 ding. Okay, that's the note I need. Ding 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 ding. But that's the note I need. That doesn't take any skill. So I didn't find that very impressive. But right about this time, when I was copy and pasting stuff, and I was like, just trying to save time, I was like, well, obviously everybody's going to be fine with me not using, like, this isn't legitimately made note blocks. I'm sure everybody knows that I'm not actually gathering all the resources, so they know it's not legit. I'm assuming everybody knows that I copy and paste. So the next step I'm going to take in this little tutorial hopefully isn't going to come too much of a shocker, because I've even mentioned it, that I use Minecraft Noteblock Studio. Because I actually had a really big internal struggle about this, determining whether the song had any sort of value if it wasn't built legitimately, or if I should try to keep legitimately at all, or anything like that. But I ended up just feeling like the end result, or the song itself, trying to be as close to the original as possible is my main goal, and that's what I should be after, not necessarily actually having hand placed every block. That makes no sense to me. So next thing I want to bring you up to speed on is Minecraft Noteblock Studio. So hold on one second, we'll bring that up. Okay, and so now I had to use different recording software. Actually, I couldn't figure out how to record my desktop, but this is Camtasia rather than Fraps like I was using. But this is Minecraft Noteblock Studio. If you aren't familiar, it kind of puts things into a multi-track format that you might be used to if you've used any sort of other, like GarageBand or Fruity Loops, or pretty much any multi-tracking software. And you got your different notes here, or different instruments. I apologize. And so, for example, you got your piano down here, and that's how you tune, and which is a lot easier for me because it actually makes sense rather than having to listen for every single note. So if I know that I need a D, there we go, put a D. Super simple. And so the next part, this is what I consider the actual skillful part of the entire process. So if I did lose any respect points from any of you for using Minecraft Noteblock Studio rather than hand doing it like I used to do, then hopefully this will be the redeeming factor. I say, for example, I got a song here that I'm interested in doing, so I'm going to open with Transcribe, which is a software that I use to slow songs down so I can more easily grasp the notes that are being played. So for example, that's Top Gear track 1 called Mad Racer, and that's from an old video game if y'all aren't familiar. Anyway, so this was recommended to me or requested by me to do, so this is me doing it right now. I'm going to be doing a Camtasia recording of the whole thing, maybe not have my face here the whole time, but just so y'all can see the exact process of what I do. What I do is I have see there's a slider here, I can drop it down to like 50%. So it's a simple arpeggio. So it's arpeggio in C. That's even easier than I was expecting. So since it's covering multiple octaves, I'm going to probably need to start with a bass. So okay, so it goes up to this note, and it just backs down. The right speed. No, I just get it up. I got that, and that's here. There we go. Okay, well, so this intro so far. Obviously, it's a little slow. I'm going to take the speed, just like you do in Minecraft than it is in-game, so I actually just increase the speed here. See if I was double it. It's too fast. So I got to play with it and find exactly where it needs to go. Oops. Actually, yeah, that's on the right. Okay, so that's not the right speed. So since it's twice as fast as I had it, to play it at the correct speed in Minecraft, at the 10 ticks per second, what we gotta do is we gotta switch all this down together, which, oops. Dang. Which isn't really a problem, but I should listen to it before I wrote that notes down, just to make sure that I had the right tempo in. Alright, and then does another arpeggio and alright, then does another arpeggio in the on a F scale. Well, F scale in the key of C. C minor, sorry. Alright. So I did the F arpeggio, and then it actually repeats the same C arpeggio from the beginning. Oops, not that much. We'll do it right there. Repeat that there, and then actually, let's go ahead and move it up, copy it, paste it to the end. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have and take a listen to what the original was like, okay? And then right about here it does hold on, let me get the timing in. Alright, so now you should hopefully be getting an idea. I'm literally just listening to the song enough that I can pick out the notes. And some songs are obviously much easier to do than others. This one's got a lot of notes very quickly, so I have to slow it down significantly. Because I'm not, though also the more familiar I am with the song, the easier I'll be able to pick it up. This one I'm not that familiar with, since it was a request. And then also you might notice, since the arpeggio is spanning so many different octaves there, all the way up to where I would want the lead to be, which, by the way, non-music theorists out there, the harmony is usually the highest note in a chord, or if it's a separate line itself, it still needs to stand out or be higher than the chords around it, or at least significantly louder in volume or different in tone. I don't have the ability to change the volume or the tone, so I have to make it the highest note. So since this goes, let's see what happens if I increase the octave. See, if I increase the octave, I'm actually going outside the scale. So let's see if there's anything we can do to make this pop out a little bit more while maintaining something that can actually be put into Minecraft. Alright, so basically all I did is I doubled up the theme and put it in double bass as well. That way it does kind of push up the volume. It's not necessarily actually pushing up the volume, it's kind of tricking your ear into thinking that more is going on by playing two of the same exact note in different tones. And actually there are only 2 octaves. Actually no, that's wrong. There's 3 octaves. The double bass covers the bottom 2 octaves. The harp covers the top 2. So they actually overlap in the middle. So I'm playing the exact same notes, but double bass has a different tone to them. So I may have misquoted myself. I can't change the tone. I can kind of by doing this. See, I'm doubling them up. So let's go ahead and give that a listen and see if that stands out a bit more. I think that sticks out just a little bit more. You can hear the theme, and that's about probably the best I could do. And is there any percussion going on during this? I started out at the beginning. I didn't even notice it. So basically, what I'm hearing is a. Kind of like that, but almost an octave above it, and I don't need to tick. I try to match things tone-wise and just in general, as best as I can, but it doesn't always work. So let's try this. I'm hearing something a little bit like that. There's details in the below the it's like it has some really minuscule triplets in there and stuff that I'm just gonna ignore. So because there's details that you just can't quite capture in Minecraft. So what you want to do is you want to get the details that you can, and stick with that. So far this is what we have. Start from the beginning. Oh, let's start from the beginning. And then, actually, what I did with the laying the arpeggios, that's probably the most difficult part of the song, is going to be those arpeggios and the background chords, is figuring out exactly, sometimes there's some complicated chords in the back of songs you might not notice, and then you have to actually rebuild those chords, listen to them and figure out each of the notes that are in the chords that give it the exact voicing of that specific chord. So the lead part is actually really simple. I could probably finish the entire lead for the song in a matter of minutes, but it's all the background and all the little details that do take a little bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this song, show you all the end result here, and then I will show you all how I put it into Minecraft. Alright, I finished the song. It only took me a little over, like about an hour actually, and it was a pretty difficult song, I gotta say, because there's a lot going on. Once you get the theme of it, it starts to pick up speed, and obviously, like there's some songs like the Carly Rae Jepsen song, or even Titanium, that it really didn't take much time once you learn the chord progression, the beat that goes under it. Like you can knock it out in like 20 minutes. So that's why I was able to put up like 3 in one day, because I had nothing. I was, everybody's got hobbies. This is mine. So if I want to spend hours doing it on a Sunday or something like that, then okay. But so anyway, now that I have the song, whoops, let's close that. Now that I have the song, what we want to do is export as a schematic, and this is where a lot of people are like, man, this is crap. But I just spent all this work making this song, interpreting it in a way that could sound good in Noteblock. So that's where the skill comes in. This is where the monotonous, pointless part of making Minecraft music gets excluded. Is you can, oh yeah, that's something I didn't mention. That little warning there. There are certain notes. You see these little arrows here. You may not be able to see them in 720p or whatever I'm going to upload this in. That means that it actually went above the scale that's in the game. And so my trick for that is I take out the tick sound, replace them with hi-hats in the track, and then in the game, which if you haven't seen my whatever it's called, intensive Noteblock unit, where I swapped the sound files for alternate files. So what I do is I take the harp noise, increase the pitch, and then replace the tick noise, and then play the notes that I want to be above what Minecraft could normally do. I use the ticks, or sand block underneath to produce the tick sound, but I replaced the sound with a higher pitched harp. So in this organization part of it in Minecraft Noteblock Studio, I will just go ahead and use some notes that are right above the scale, sometimes if it's really necessary to get the song right. So then I will go back and I'll put in my own custom sound file, like I said. So that's how that's done. If y'all were wondering, if I ever played notes that are not on the scale, what I do is I replace the sound file for the tick. Alright, good. Now that we've got that done, we go to export a schematic, say yes to that, and here you got a little bit of some choices here. You can do a simple walkway. You can do the circular walkway, which seems to be pretty buggy from the latest patch. Like the cart doesn't always keep up. And then classic, which is just a glass above. Which, let's go ahead and do that. It's pretty simple that way. And then, let's see, 15 repeaters. I could do it wider than that. Let's do 18, so it's not going to be as long. 18 should be just fine. Actually, let's do 20. Hell yeah. And then you go ahead and export I have, see here, get my other songs here. Yeah, I did NanCat, whatever. I never uploaded that because it's already been done way too much. And I got a phone call. Great, so I'm going to save that. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So the next thing you'd want to do is actually, you would want to get MC Edit or something like it. Nothing, I think the main developer stopped developing it like a long time ago, but I've been using the same version and it keeps working. So, whenever it loads, it takes its sweet time. Just give it a second. So, load your world tutorial is the one we're going to use. Fly up a little bit. Look, see, there's my. Oh, man, this is going to be slow since I'm recording and stuff. MC Edit can already take a little while, but so importing this is probably going to be a pain. See, there's a little village that I started right next to, and there's the note blocks that I was showing you with, and then we'll go ahead and import the thing we made. Alright, and then just let it sit. Usually, like I said, it doesn't take this long. If you have a really slow computer, it might take a while. And be sure not to be running Minecraft when you use MC Edit. That could seriously cause some problems and will really definitely slow things down. Okay, well, oddly enough, it looks like it made this, the top of this entirely covered in, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and select the top here. Whoops. Delete all those top blocks so you can see what's going on. Everybody wants to see what's going on. Alright, there you have it. There's the song. It's in the world. Don't believe me? Let's go ahead and go take a look. Alright, it's going really slow because I've been running Camtasia Recorder the whole time, and so it's like it's a really big file and it's still writing to it, so that's why it's lagging everything so terribly. But here we go. The song is in here. You want me to play it? Well, you're gonna have to wait till I make that video, which is probably gonna be right after this one. That's why I didn't play the whole song for you, because I don't want to spoil it. But hopefully this gives you an idea. This is exactly what I'm doing. Hopefully I didn't lose any points from you guys for using Minecraft Noteblock Studio. Hopefully you do still have an appreciation for what I'm doing. I don't use sheet music. I don't import MIDIs. I don't do all the shiesty crap that some of the other people do. I am specifically wanting this note here, this note there. I could do it the old-fashioned way. Like I said, I used to do it the old-fashioned way, note by note, counting out each one of these. All that would do is take more time. It takes no more skill. So, hopefully you guys are okay with that, and hopefully you guys can now make your own cool stuff. This is actually a really cool place. I like that little city over there. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this video, and then I'm going to record the actual song itself. So hope you guys stick around for that. Bye.